Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. Paris Junior College will hold fall semester graduation Friday, December 16th in the Hunt Center beginning at 7 p.m. Early registration for spring classes on the Sulphur Springs campus is underway. Early registration is also ongoing for the winter midterm, which starts December 19th, and the spring semester, which begins January 17th. PJC will close for regular winter break after graduation on the 16th, and they will reopen on January 2nd, resuming early registration for the spring. One-on-one on-campus registration will be January 11th at the Sulphur Springs campus, and Saturday registration from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on January 14th. After closing for Martin Luther King Day, classes begin on Tuesday, January 17th, and late registration will be held Tuesday and Wednesday. For a list of the classes, go to parisjc.edu/schedule. Lights of Life Tree Lighting Celebration. The 21st annual celebration took place Thursday night. The Lights of Life has benefited the local hospital with over $2.1 million during those years. Meredith Cadell welcomed those who were present.
Welcome to the 21st annual Lights of Life tree lighting. This thing has been going on, like I said, for 21 years. It is the original fundraiser for the Hopkins County Healthcare Foundation. Over the past several years, they've raised over $2.1 million for this hospital. So that has contributed to you guys. So thank you so much for all your donations. We certainly do appreciate you. We've got a great evening planned. It's not going to be a long evening because I know it's kind of chilly out, but we're going to have, I've asked Marquita Fisher, who's the chairman of the board for the Hopkins County Healthcare Foundation, to say a couple of words. And following her, our CEO of Christus Mother Francis Sulphur Springs will lead us in a prayer, and then we will continue on with the program. If you have not gotten a program and you would like one, Addison, where are you?
In the past, the foundation has worked to raise money to buy some different equipment for the hospital, and none of this would be possible without the help of our sponsors, without their support. And some of the things that we have bought for the hospital in the past, I had to actually make notes because I'm not very medically oriented, so I was afraid I would mess up the words. But we bought the Philips patient monitoring systems, the therapeutic hypothermia equipment, digital mammography machine, built the children's therapy gardens and the gardens. We've purchased flex coils, and we bought 3 telemedicine machines. This is not all that we've done, it's just a brief listing. Today, I actually got to see the telemedicine machine in action. A dear friend of mine is currently here in the hospital, and within an hour of her arrival in ICU, she was communicating with a specialist who was able to communicate with her, see her. He had all of her charts, medical information, and he was able to communicate with the staff here, and they were able to determine a course of treatment for her within just a very short time. And so I've always known that the work the foundation does and the support of this community and the money that has been donated, I've always known how important that was. But today it just really hit home. It just really touched my heart to be able to see the telemedicine machine in action. So thank you again. Thank you so much for all that you continue to do. And Mr. Harvey?
Thank you, Mrs. Fisher. Well, on behalf of Christus Mother Francis Hospital here in Sulphur Springs, and myself, Paul Harvey, as a CEO, and my team, our associates that work here, we just want to thank everybody for being here to support our foundation and the good work that they do on behalf of our hospital and our community. Can I see a show of hands of how many is here from the foundation who's on our board? Let's give them a round of applause. and just we just love what they're doing and what they continue to do on behalf of the hospital. I also like to mention and welcome our Sulphur Springs band here, and let's give them a big round of applause. I'm sure they have other things to do in other places, but we appreciate you guys being here and enjoying this Christmas event. So with that said, let's bow our heads in reverence. And remember, with Christus, our mission is to extend the healing ministry of Jesus Christ. So I'd like to offer some words here. Loving God, we thank you that you have come into our lives and that you act with saving power to make all things new. We thank you for pouring out your life into the human form of Jesus. Touched by your word, made flesh, we embody and signify your love on this earth. May the joy of Christmas never end, but continue through the ages until at last your reign of justice and peace is fully established on this earth. We pray in the name of Jesus, your word, amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. We appreciate you being here tonight. And the next thing I want to do real quick is just tell you we've done a little something different this year. For a $25 donation, everyone who donated $25, they're listed, they did a memorial or honorarium, and that's what's listed on this program sheet on the red piece of paper. They also will receive a luminary. So you can see if you look behind you at the gardens right now, they're beautifully lit by over 250 luminaries in honor or memoriam of a loved one. Whenever the evening is over, they start at this bench that's right here, the first bench, and they go all the way around according to the red sheet. So if someone has given a memorial or honorarium for a family member of yours, you may follow this sheet. You'll probably have to use your flashlight from your phone to see it, but you can follow them all the way around the garden and pick up your luminary and take it home with you to remember this night. So I just want to thank you all for your contribution to that. The next thing I would like to do is introduce Sam and Cher Sevier. They are the 2016-2017 Lights of Life Gala Chairs.
Thank you, Meredith. I too would like to thank you for coming out. I know when Cher and I were asked to fill this role, we were very honored. I've been blessed to work with the hospital and medical community for about 35 years now. I know I don't look that old, but it's catching up quickly. But we chose this year, the theme for the gala is The Beat Goes On. And this community has got an amazing beat in so many ways. With the things that are happening at the hospital, the things that are happening in our community, the things that are happening all around have just been a wonderful place for us to raise our kids and to be a part of. And that beat's going to continue, and it's going to continue in the eyes of all of you that are out here and your kids as well. So we think it's an appropriate thing, and we've been successful in our fundraising this year. We'll be purchasing 2 more additional pieces of equipment for the hospital. The anti-gravity treadmill, which as I understand it, is going to be not only used for patients, but for community use too. And for those of you that are getting weak-kneed like I am, I think that's going to be a great thing to have. Also going to be purchasing some giraffe beds, high-tech prenatal beds for our pediatric department, and I think that'll be a great help. I'd like at this time to introduce to you a couple that we've selected to be our special honorees this year. They certainly represent a strong beat of the past that they're going to have some very big shoes to fill in the future. We've asked Bill and Peggy Dietz. Bill's unable to be here, but Peggy, if you'd come out here. I don't think there's a person in town that doesn't know these people in some degree and know what great folks they are, but we're really honored to have them be our special honorees this year for the gala.
Oh, do I have to?
No.
Thank you for this honor.
Thank you very much.
Lake Country Casa's annual cookie walk began Friday morning with hundreds and hundreds of cookies bought before noon. Peggy Walker with Casa talked to Doug Haston about the cookie walk.
This is our annual cookie walk for Lake Country Casa, and it's been magical. We had hundreds and hundreds of cookies about 7 o'clock this morning, and as you can see now, we are now nearly sold out. We just so appreciate the community who comes in and buys our cookies, and it goes for a good cause for the children we serve in Hopkins County, and Rains County, and Franklin County.
How do you spend this money?
The money goes to help children who, during Christmas time, some of the children are placed with relatives, and they're in need. The relatives need help with Christmas, and it helps to offset the mileage for the volunteers who go out and visit the children. And the money is used mainly for the children.
Where do you get your cookies?
The cookies come from all the organizations in Sulphur Springs. And some of the other counties also. We have it from various clubs. In fact, this year we have from Saltilla. The culinary classes make cookies, and the high school culinary classes make cookies. And I don't want to leave anybody out. Like the Mothers Club, the Junior Waverly Club. Just various clubs, and then individuals will bring cookies in. Essie Pearson, she always makes 2 delicious cakes, and they go very fast.
How long have we been doing this now?
Now, I've been doing it about 7 years, but I think this is maybe the 16th year this has been going on, and it's always just a huge success. And I think everyone enjoys it.
Are you going to do it again?
Oh, yeah. We'll have it next year. We usually have it the 1st of December on a Friday. And it's here at the First Methodist Church. They're so gracious to open it up and let us use their building.
Sheriff-elect Lewis Tatum called the work of Hopkins County inmates at Primm Stadium successful.
I'm coming out here to haul junk.
What are you going to do with that junk?
Well, we're going to haul all that scrap, but one big pile of scrap we're putting on trailer now. We're hauling that to Reed scrap metal, and all the reusable stuff, we're taking it to our farm. We're going to build a barn out there. We're trying to build a big structure with a cooler and all in it out there.
So when are you going to start on that?
Just as soon as we get done with this and Mr. Fromberger says we're done, then we're going to start on the barn at the farm.
In your opinion, has this been successful?
And I think very fast. I think our guys have completed the job pretty quick. A lot quicker than I thought they would. I think they got her down pretty quick.
Yeah, I've been working on it, what, about 3 weeks?
3 weeks. Yeah, they're good, a bunch of good workers. So I'm proud of them. Get this cleaned up, and so when Mr. Fromberger releases us, then we'll start on the farm building another one.
So how's your garden going?
That frost got it. The last frost got our peas, so we're going to plow all that under and start prepping, getting ready for spring.
It is Civil Air Patrol Week in Hopkins County and the 75th anniversary of the creation of Civil Air Patrol, that day in December of 1941, just 7 days prior to Pearl Harbor. Civil Air Patrol assisted the United States military during World War II. The late Charles White of Sulphur Springs became a cadet during his high school days. He went on to a career in flight and was killed during a helicopter training exercise for the Vietnam War when he was age 29. Let's meet his brother, Gerald White.
He grew up the first 12 years of his life. They lived in Arbela, and he was just a regular farm kid. I got a picture of him here.
Okay.
He usually wore overalls.
There he is
like
in
the farm kids. Just a regular guy. He played, I believe, junior high football, or maybe could be grade school.
That's when we played.
The grade schools had teams back then, and
yeah, that's Charles White. And there's another of him.
There's one more there. He's got his Wildcat T-shirt on. That's 48, 49 school year.
Oh, those are really priceless.
He just had a interest in planes and flying, and must have just been born with it, because He'd never been up in a plane or anything like that. I did have one cousin, distant cousin, Omer Locklear. Most people around here at least heard of Omer. He was a wing walker.
A wing walker in movies.
In movies, yes, and he was killed doing a shot.
I see. And we have to say, at the end of our story, of course, we'll conclude, but your brother, Charles White, was also killed in his career.
Yes, he was. He was in a helicopter. He went to helicopters and was training both American and South Vietnamese pilots during the Vietnam War.
I see.
And he was killed at Fort Walters, where he was a helicopter instructor in 1966.
And he was what age?
29 years old.
I see.
Yes.
Well, this being the Civil Air Patrol Week in Hopkins County, actually the year of 1941, Civil Air Patrol was established in our nation.
Yes.
And was initially established to assist the military during World War II, bringing individuals with interest or experience in, and also youngsters who were cadets.
Yes, and I understand it was established or formed 6 days before, I believe it was 6 days before Pearl Harbor.
Correct.
And it has 75,000 members now. 40,000 cadets, young cadets, are touched each year by the Civil Air Patrol.
Civil Air Patrol still serves three major purposes: cadet programs and aerospace education and emergency services.
That's right. And I feel like, well, I know they played a big part in my brother's career, but what they did, it gave him a boost up right when he needed it. He got his license when he was 17. I believe he was a senior in high school. And the way that came about is he was working for Highview Drive-In. He's the one of the guys that used to drive the little red, about a 50 model Chevrolet pickup around town with pulling a little trailer with the sign and coming attraction, and sometimes they had a little sign in the back of the truck too.
For the Highview Drive-In.
Yes,
which was way out on Main Street. Is that right?
He worked there, and he also busted people that came in without paying.
Oh, did he? So sort of a bouncer there.
He looked for cars that was kind of sitting down in the back,
Okay. Well, here's a picture, and of course it is a copy of an old newspaper clipping, so it's not extremely clear. But in the center of the picture, you'll see young Charles White at age 17 shaking hands with, whom I believe to be the commander of the local unit of Civil Air Patrol, who was named Hoyt Smith. And also in the picture is W.T. Dub Waits, who was CAP squadron commander, and also the owner of the plane, Joe Pruitt.
Yes.
And also James King and W.L. Chapman.
Yes.
Is also in this.
Those three or maybe four men, I believe, owned the plane, and they had the flying service here.
Okay. Sulphur Springs Flying Service.
Sulphur Springs Flying Service.
And this is from 1954, fall of 1954.
Yes, that was the initiation ritual there to clip the shirt tail off of a flyer that just made his solo flight. Now,
is that what they do?
Yes, and I don't know whether they still do that or not, but I know a little side story to that. When he did his helicopter solo, he got picked up by the other guys and threw in a ditch full of cold water.
Okay, then. Lots of initiation things and traditions that had to be observed. Well, let me ask you before we go any further, you and your brother Charles and your sisters, whom there are a number of, five girls, were children on a dairy, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit about your early life.
Where our dairy is here on Interstate 30, we're still in the business. We all grew up just across the road. It'd be beside and behind Wyatt's record service now. That's where we grew up over on Rockdale Road.
Before there was even an interstate dividing your land.
Yes, and our old dairy is still standing over there on Rockdale Road.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before you came to this property, you then were in Arbela.
Arbela. Okay. They moved. My mother and dad moved up here. I'm not sure the exact date. I'm going to say about 1947 or 48.
Okay.
And I was born in 49. So when all this was taking place, I was only like 5 or 6 years old, but I remember it well. I remember going out to the airport with my brother, and he went out. It was one of his duties. He did work at the airport, I think, on like a side job, and that's how he met with all these guys.
Okay.
He had a job, probably just odd jobs, but I know he painted all the little shields over the lights and markers around the field. He had a job painting those, and it was his job every afternoon, late, to go out and turn the big beacon on, and he'd take me out there with him. I'd sit in the car while he climbed the tower and turned the beacon on.
Well, of course, that would impress a youth, and possibly into a career, around airports and in flying.
And I do want to give credit to another fella, and his first name escapes me, but his last name was Brown, and he flew pipelines around here, checked pipelines, and he would notice my brother watching him land and take off every day while he was out there painting and working. And he asked him one day, he said, would you like to go with me? And as far as I know, that's the first time my brother had ever flew. But he told my brother, he said, you need to take you a bread wrapper or a plastic bag of some sort, because you're going to need it before we get back.
Well, not everybody does, and maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just so well suited for that kind of life, and it was something that kind of came into his life, and he grabbed it with both hands, right?
He did. He loved anything having to do with flying. He read these airplane books like some guys when I was growing up read hot rod books. He had a whole stack of them at the house.
Probably he being older than you, and maybe you seeing him during his teenage years, he got into other antics around town and in his community, you think?
Yeah, he was a pretty good guy, but he'd get with some other guys, and they one I can tell you that had to do with flying is he'd sneak out to the airport after dark to take me for a ride. I mean, he did that a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah. But he did buy a plane right after he got his license. He bought a plane, and I think he bought it in partnership with a couple of more of his friends. And as far as I know, it's this plane right here that had been crashed. He didn't crash it, but one of the other guys crashed it down at Tyler Landing.
This is from the Morning News Telegram in Sulphur Springs, October 3rd of 1954, and there's a picture of a very light plane, and it is under the overhang where you would drive up at a service station here in town. So it says SO Extra, and you believe this to be over near the water tower area?
Ward Gober Station.
Okay, Ward Gober Humble Service Station. The first airplane believed ever serviced in a Sulphur Springs service station is shown here as being wiped off by Alonzo Craig at Ward Gober Station. So the stripped-down plane was brought to Sulphur Springs to be reassembled by the local Civil Air Patrol as a squadron project, and your brother had the idea of getting it.
Yes.
Wonder how they found it. But it was brought here on a trailer and washed at the service station before being removed to Civil Air Patrol quarters here in town.
When they first brought it back in NOLA, they wanted a place to store it till they got ready and got all the stuff ready to work on it. And they put it in our hay barn, which was a good place, but the wings, had been taken off to bring it up here, and we laid the wings up on top of the hay, which was a good place until the cows broke in and stomped the wings all up. So you can see the way the plane looks, and if the wings wasn't any good, it was a complete redo.
I say.
And they did redo that plane. That's where they really helped my brother out. Civil Air Patrol came in there and helped him redo that plane, and they painted it silver with maroon stripes and put the little fenders on the wheels and all that stuff, and it was really sharp when they got through. And they took off, I believe my brother flew it, took off on 19. Mr. Pruitt was Highway Patrol. He stopped traffic. They took off on 19, flew it back to the airport.
Mama.
Now, some people may know that Mr. Pruitt from Bill's history reports every year.
Oh,
he flew in the polio vaccine.
I see.
For the school children.
That really did impact our community way back then. And on the subject of this plane and its restoration, the Civil Air Patrol may not have had a hangar or some appropriate place. So there was a place found to do the restoration work, which was on Highway 19 South.
Yes, just south of where the pilot truck stop is now. There was a little country grocery station, and it had a garage beside it, and they got that garage to redo this plane.
Wow. And really fitted it out nicely.
Yes.
So after, let's say your brother did these things we've mentioned so far, and he graduated high school here in Sulphur Springs, what then did he go on and do?
He moved to Dallas, and he worked for a short time at a hardware store, but then he worked for Braniff Airlines in the machine shop. And
he met his death, and we have to tell, I'm so sorry, wrap up our interview so quickly.
He went on to be a helicopter instructor at Fort Walters, and he was number one on the safety list. We never heard what happened, but they said that helicopter just fell out of the sky and killed him and his student.
The crash of the helicopter near Mineral Wells, and the 29th of November 1966, Lieutenant Charles White of Sulphur Springs.
Yes.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
Wildcats basketball coach Clark Cipolletta is a big believer in defense. He feels a team can win with strong defense, even on occasions when a team has a subpar shooting game. Case in point, the Wildcats' 57-39 win over Lufkin in a Royce City tournament Friday morning. The Wildcats struggled some to hit outside shots, so they funneled the ball inside to post Victor Iwulkor and played tenacious defense. Coach Cipolletta said he was proud of the way his team played. He said any time that you can hold a good team like Lufkin or anybody else under 40 points a game, you're really getting after it on defense. He said defense can lead to steals that can result in easier baskets. Besides defense, Coach Cipolletta is also urging his team to get the ball inside to tall post Victor Iwulkor, who scored 21 points against Lufkin. Freshman Michael Jefferson chipped in 12 points, including 2 3-pointers. Coach Cipolletta said Jefferson had tons of potential. He said Jefferson struggled early to find his role on the team and to adjust to more ball handling responsibility. The 6'5" Jefferson had previously played as a post or a shooting guard. Bryson Lynn scored 10 points against Lufkin, including 2 3-pointers. Against Lufkin, the Wildcats led 16-8 after one quarter, 39-20 at halftime, and 49-31 after 3 quarters. The Wildcats, now 6-0 this season, face their sternest test of the season by far Saturday at 8:30 a.m. against ranked Class 6A powerhouse Dallas Skyline. They feature a Kansas commit. Coach Cipolletta said he looked forward to playing Skyline, and he added he would take the same approach that's been successful for the Wildcats so far this season. Lady Cats basketball team lost their first game Friday morning at Winnsboro's Hoop Fest after a pair of wins on Thursday. Poor shooting did end the Lady Cats in a 46-31 loss to Lindale in a gold bracket game. That gold bracket features first and second place pool teams. The Lady Cats hit only 12 of 42 field goal attempts, or 29%. They were only 3 of 15 from three-point range, and that is 20%. As a result, they scored 11 first-half points. 7 in the first quarter and only 4 in the second quarter. After scoring 13 points in the third quarter, the Lady Cats could manage only 7 fourth quarter points. Several Lady Cats are fighting off illness, and even Coach Jeff Chapman said he's feeling a little under par. Kaylee Jefferson scored 16 points for the Lady Cats against Lindale and also added 5 rebounds, 2 blocked shots, and 5 steals. The team committed 24 turnovers. Thursday, the Lady Cats defeated Longview 42-38 and White House 76-12 to win their pool. Coach Chapman said the Longview win brought back memories when they were in the Lady Cats district. He said since Longview is a Class 6A program now, the win was a big one for the Lady Cats. He said his players accepted the challenge put forth by Longview. However, Coach Chapman said that he thought the Lady Cats do need to work on their press breaking. During the White House rout Thursday evening, the Lady Cats half-court trap devastated White House. The Lady Cats had 18 assists, many after turnovers forced by this press. The Lady Cats will play in the consolation side of the gold bracket now, and play in the tournament continues on Saturday.
Thanks for watching Channel 18 News. Have a great evening.